Oh, wait. What am I talking about? I forgot to give you guys the contestants of the season. So you got Anthony Burshak, who's 2-4 in the UFC. You got Chris Matinho. You remember him. Sean O'Malley beat his face in for 3 straight rounds. You got Cody Gibson, 1-3 in the UFC. You got Hunter Azure, 2-2 in the UFC. Now, if I know you guys, and I do know you guys, I would imagine that you guys all saw the video of Conor arriving at Apex yesterday. And so you can basically say, officially, the production of The Ultimate Fighter has commenced. And there is already chaos ensuing, not necessarily directly related to Conor arriving, outside of now it's on. Like, now it's on. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, and there are a lot of people that just got a lot of very, very bad, well, they got extraordinarily bad news. And I'm going to tell you about those guys. And honestly, I'm looking forward to this entire production because, look, man, like, I just like talking about this stuff, and I like being able to provide value to my viewers. And in this case, I think I'm in a unique position to provide a lot of value over this entire production, both while it's being filmed and when it's going to be on television, because I've done so much reality television. I was the main talent on 2 shows. I also...
It seems like they've been dating forever.
I've been with Jesse for 3.5 years.
I was the co-creator and executive producer, partnered with Studio Lambert. You can Google them. They're the producers of Undercover Boss, along with a billion other shows. And the show that Gabrielle and I got married on was produced by the producers of The Bachelor. So these are like big productions. So I'll be able to provide insight, you know, like as I hear things. And I also know a bunch of people that are, you know, part of the production. So I'm going to do my best to relay a lot of that to you guys. And in this case, this is more of a logistical, chaotic thing than anything else. But it's still very interesting. And then we also got the roster of who is going to be on the season, the luckiest guys on earth. And I'm going to talk you through that, and we'll go from there. So I assume everybody saw Conor, you know, I assume everyone saw Conor arrive at Apex yesterday, dressed to the nines. Now, in the comments, if you don't mind, I would like you to say either yes or no to the following statement. Conor is the best dressed athlete of all time. Yes or no? Or actually, not just yes or no. You could say yes, or say no, I think this person is a better dressed athlete, because I honestly was racking my brain. I was like, man, he's sharp, dude. He's got great taste. He always looks good, and he's always wearing just vicious suits. And I really was thinking about it. I'm like, who has ever worn a suit better than him? And I can't think of anybody. I'm open to the conversation. Throw it out there, man. Throw it out there. But also like the video if you don't mind, and then if you haven't yet, subscribe. Like we do here, it's a handshake. I work really hard on the videos. If you're going to watch them, all you do is subscribe, and then we're clear. And by the way, since I started doing that, do you want to know what the numbers went from? It used to be 52-48 subscribed, unsubscribed on my metrics, and now it's 74% subscribed. Do you understand how huge of a jump that is? All just because you guys are good people who are living up to your end of the bargain, where I'm like, just click the button, and all of you guys do it. Thank you guys. I seriously love you guys. And I really mean that. Like, I love this channel more than anything. When I thought there was a chance I was going to lose it a couple weeks ago, I was absolutely terrified. And I'm very grateful. Thank you guys. Seriously. Now, let me provide you guys some value. So here is what's going on. So first of all, I assume everybody knows that this came together very fast in terms of who the coaches were going to be. Okay. So I can tell you absolutely that Conor and Chandler doing the series, which like what was that? Like, it was less than 2 weeks ago for sure. It might have even been like 1 week ago. This is like very recent news that Conor and Chandler are doing the show. And I can tell you, there wasn't like a month where these guys knew that was the case. Like, this came together and then they announced it almost immediately. Okay. So now that Conor is actually there on set, it means there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, because you don't just like, all right, we're having a reality show. Like, here we go. It's on, you know, like on the backside when Gabrielle did our show. So when we did our show, which is our first experience doing reality television, we had to go through a process of auditions, you know, where they basically like, we didn't know this at the time, but they were doing a pilot. So they went nationwide, and they would have couples come in and audition and whatever. And like, we were one of the couples from San Diego, and they narrowed it down to like 4 from all these different cities. We ended up getting picked out of like, I don't know, 200 couples that tried to, that they chose to audition. Like, all these people emailed in, but like, it took months and months and months. So, you know, they're planning this production. Now, this was a little bit different because they had to sell the show to the network. But when we were doing the other one, After we sold the show to the network, it was months of planning, dude. Like months of planning. So on the backside of this UFC thing, or the Ultimate Fighter thing, they're planning all this out. They needed to know who the contestants were going to be, or at the very least have a list of options. And so these guys now who thought they were the contestants had been brought to Vegas, and they were staying in hotels prior to moving into the Ultimate Fighter house. Okay. So there were a bunch of guys who thought that they were going to be contestants. This is the chaos, who just found out they're not. Like they had been staying in these hotels assuming that they had made it, right? Like they're like, oh my God, I'm in, dude. Like seriously, think about this for a second. We've talked about what this means. If you're going to be a contestant on this season, it's not like, yay, I made the Ultimate Fighter. It's like, oh my God, I honestly don't think people should even think about this as a traditional Ultimate Fighter season because it's Conor and Chandler. The fact that Conor's doing it makes it like you got chosen to be a part of a reality show that Conor McGregor is doing. He's the star of a reality show about fighters, and you got picked is completely different than just getting picked for Ultimate Fighter. The opportunity is immeasurable. It's honestly, it's immeasurable. The fact that he got chosen. Now, one thing that I will note as we discuss this is that there is a contestant who knocked the teeth off of Artem Lobov in a fight. Actually, Artem might have knocked his teeth out. I can't remember. But this guy has punched Artem Artem in the face about 1,000 times. So maybe Conor will want him on the team. So we'll get to the list of contestants in a second. But bottom line is there were people who had thought that they were chosen, who are at the hotel, who just found out they're not moving into the Ultimate Fighter house, and they're out. Okay, so the word on the street is that these guys are very upset, like very upset, and you can understand why. They thought that they had hit the lot. They thought they had the opportunity of a lifetime in front of them. Think about the mentality of a fighter. Like think about what that would be like. You're like, you have to believe you're on this destiny journey, and when you get picked for Ultimate Fighter with Conor on it, you're like, this is it, man. This is what it's all been leading to. It's all been leading to this. And you're in this hotel, you're talking to all your family, all your friends, you're like, I heard Conor's coming in today. We move into the house, next week, and yada yada. And then they're like, hey man, listen, so tough news, man. Tough news. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're not doing the show. It's like what would be more devastating than that news? You know what I mean? They're like, listen, man, look, every year we always need substitutes. So there is still a chance. There are actually 2 substitutes. But I mean, it's a rough day. So listen, these guys, like the guys who were staying in hotels didn't have any idea what was going on. And now they finally are like, okay, it's official. You're on the thing. And now you're moving into the Ultimate Fighter house. But the whole point is that like this is coming together so fast, and they're just going to like start filming, which is awesome. Okay. The chaos is good. These guys being jumbled and not having any idea what's going on is good. Chaos is good. Chaos leads to exceptional reality television. It's great. It's great. The more uncomfortable people feel, the better the show will be, because emotion leads to good footage. And one thing that you will learn about any reality television production is that the producers do not care about anything except for one thing. Get the footage. Get the footage. Get them to do, it doesn't matter what you have to do. It doesn't matter if they man, I could do a whole thing on what I was asked to do for the first production. Now, the second production, they did a pretty good job. The one that I was a co-creator on, even though I was directly involved, I was a co-creator and I was directly involved in the production. When it came to filming the actual show, I got cut out of the strategy completely because the show was about me. And they did such a good job, coaching the people that were my actual business partners and investors. And they knew exactly what buttons to push, dude. Even though, so that show was real. My emotional reactions were real. If you've never watched it, go Google, YouTube search Jesse on Fire reality show. Jesse on Fire. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse on Fire Startup Esquire. And there's one scene that's completely fake, and that's the one where Gabrielle and I went to a marriage counselor. That's completely set up. That entire thing is totally 100% fake. But outside of that, all the other stuff is real. And they just knew exactly how to press my buttons to get me mad. If I'm mad on that show, I'm legit mad, dude. I was legitimately mad. I was not faking at all. On the other one, it's 100% fake, all of it. Every single bit of it is completely fake. And, you know, the only things I ever said no to was they were like, so 2 things, actually. I only said no to 2 things. One, we were doing a B-roll. We were filming B-roll, which just means they're getting footage that they don't need audio for it. They're going to use it for kind of like montages or whatever. And Gabrielle and I are on the beach in San Diego, and she has an ice cream cone, and they're all, okay, so what we want you to do is as you're walking, have Gabrielle go to feed you the ice cream cone, and then she's going to go like this, and you're going to get like ice cream all over your face. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that, dude. And they were like, and I had said yes to everything for 4 days, right? They're like, what? I was like, I'm not doing that. And they were like, why? I'm like, I'm not doing that, dude. They're like, why would you draw the line at this? And I don't know what, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. That's, first of all, that's not important for the show. And that makes me look a little bit like, you know, oh my God, there's ice cream all over my face. I'm not doing it. And then the other thing they asked me to do that I said no to was so the night that we filmed this bachelor party, we ended up doing we got a fake fight. I got a fake fight with her real ex-boyfriend who they paid to come and do this thing. I mean, he and I planned it all out, but like, you know, I pretended to throw him in a fight. It's ridiculous, dude. But they were like, earlier in the night, they were like, okay, so what we want you to do is we want you to take your boy aside, take your best friend aside. We're going to give you some Visine, put it in your eyes. And we just want you to like tear up and then cry and go, I can't believe I'm getting married tomorrow, man. I was like, I'm not doing that. And they were like, why? I'm like, I'm not crying on camera. I'm not doing that, dude. I am not doing that. Now, I did do that in the other one, in the marriage counselor one, but they knew that I was so all in getting this show on that I would do anything. And they like Greg Goldman, the producer, he pulled me aside. He's like, listen, man. He's like, I need you to cry in this scene. He's like, this sells the fucking show. He's like, this sells the fucking show. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it, dude. But yeah, they'll get you drunk. They'll give, I mean, they'll, or, you know, I think you're not supposed to like talk about that on YouTube, but like they'll give you things that you can drink that'll make you, they'll give you things you can put other places that will make you la, la, la. They'll do anything to get the footage, man. They'll do anything to get the footage. They don't care. They do not care about anything. They're ruthless, dude. Greg, the one who did my show, he did the Tori Spelling show. Dude, if you go and look at what they did to the Tori and her husband during that season, it's insane. Like I'm like, dude, you're a sadist, bro. Like, and he is, man. He is a genius one. He's amazing, dude. He's one of my really, really good buddies. But it's like they caught the dude having an affair, and they would uncover all these things, and they would give them to her. It was like they were just like tearing them apart just so they could get the footage. So anyway, chaos is good for reality television. So I'm very much looking forward to what this season has in store. And I promise, anything that I find out on the inside, I will give you guys, and anything that I see where I'm like, I could tell you exactly what's going on there, I will give you guys that also. Oh, wait. What am I talking about? I forgot to give you guys the contestants of the season. So you got Anthony Burshak, who's 2-4 in the UFC. You got Chris Matinho. You remember him. Sean O'Malley beat his face in for 3 straight rounds. You got Cody Gibson, 1-3 in the UFC. You got Hunter Azure, 2-2 in the UFC. You got Rico DeScilio, who was on Contender Series. You have Trevor Wells, never been in the UFC. Carlos Vera, never been in the UFC. You got Mondo Gutierrez, Contender Series. Timur Valiev, who is 2-1-0 in the UFC with a no contest. Manny Lozoya, who is going to serve as a substitute, who is 5-0 with no experience in the UFC. Kenneth Cross, former Contender Series. You got Lucas Clay, never been in the UFC, 9-2. Mitch Ramirez, 6-0, never been in the UFC. Austin Hubbard, 3-4 in the UFC. Jason Knight, who fought against Artem Lobov, 3-4 in the UFC. He fought against him in BKFC, 2 great fights. Aaron McKenzie, 34, never been in the UFC. Dakota Bush, 0-2 in the UFC. And Loic Radzhabov. Jesus, I'm sorry. I apologize. But he is 31, never been in the UFC. And then they got 2 more that are unconfirmed. So that is what we actually got. I love you guys.